First of all, how do you not take yourself entirely too seriously giving a TED talk? Come and listen to me tell you how to live your life. So I'm going to try and share some stuff, and it's entirely on you how seriously you'd like to take me. I leave you the choice. If at any point it begins to sound like borderline narcissism, then my head has probably traveled too far up my own backside and needs extraction. So, I am a TEDx speaker, sure, who isn't? Everyone has a story, everyone likes to talk about themselves because nearly everyone thinks that everybody wants to know everything. Part of that is because most of us are entitled brats who believe that the world must hear what we have to say. And part of that is being fueled by the number of platforms we now have to express ourselves. Anytime, anywhere. Twitter and Facebook aside, Instagram alone has 5 to 6 different features which demand different kind of content be constantly generated. Then there is the mildly scientific and yet unpredictable YouTube algorithm which Indian londas have somehow learned how to work. One look at the trending section of YouTube and all my hopes and dreams come crashing down. Then there is the newer stuff like Clubhouse, which you can go and hold audio press conferences for the peanut gallery at. The only prerequisite being an iPhone and an unholy capability to self-aggrandize. Baki, I'm sure there's about 5 more platforms I'm already too old and uncool to comprehend and be bothered about. The roundabout point I'm trying to make here is that the internet wants you to be belagam. The algorithm wants you to express. It needs you to always be speaking, sharing, generating, engaging, fighting, disagreeing, inciting. And not one platform or another multifaceted app in particular. This is the nature of the digital world we're just a part of now. तो ऐसे में in so much noise, an exhausting amount of content coming at you from your TVs, laptops, phones, smartwatches, and now mirrors even, for those of us who want to talk with an audience and not at them, how do you make sure what you have to say is being heard and processed and not just consumed without any impact? Speak your truths. And speak with as much honesty as you can afford to spend because constant honesty is understandably draining. This little talk alone took me weeks of excruciating focus and it's still not very good. Everyone is in a race to make relatable content, a little piece of video that your audience will see on their smartphones and see themselves in and their own lives reflected in, but 9.5 out of 10 Instagrammers are already doing that with millions of views. Why would anyone care to know what you are saying? They don't. No one cares. And to make people care about something you care about and want to talk about, truth and honesty need to be on your side. And listen, this isn't easy to achieve, this speak your truth business. It's hard. For most of us comfortable, middle class, privileged caste and out of touch with reality folks, it takes years of spending time learning more about the world we've been shielded from, or sides of humanity we were deemed too stupid to be taught about, or just people in lives which weren't shared with us. And more importantly, it takes a while to try and understand what our contribution towards any of these above things is, good or bad. That's why people can't be bothered to actually do it. It's tough. In a world where everyone is vying for our attention, which we're giving away gladly as well, we also want a piece of the pie. We want some of that attention and we want it like quickly. Reaching for low-hanging fruit like sexist jokes, not challenging the status quo, siding with oppressors and the majority will get you this attention fast. That's the currency you're looking for. Then why must you try and delay that gratification by doing something as stupid and seemingly pointless as thinking about what your contribution to the discourse is? It's a stupidly complicated quagmire of self-awareness, which encapsulates self-love and self-loathing and self-doubt and more things about the self because that's who you're trying to sell as a product. Look at me, listen to me, I'm amazing. The more you begin to understand what it really takes to become this person, what it takes to arrive on these ideas, the more you don't want to do it anymore. Because these epiphanies, like life itself, are complicated. They're stressful. Okay, why are so many famous people considered frivolous and out of touch? Because it's hard and difficult to be in touch. Hence, they hire people who stay in touch with the world on their behalf. Thinking makes the head hurt, and it stops you from focusing on other more important things like going to the gym, looking good, and marketing your looks instead of your ideas. Look away from the marketing, or rather look beneath the marketing. Look for the truth with your truth. Whether you're writing a movie review or an article about the new dosa restaurant in your neighborhood, maybe ask yourself first, why? What am I trying to achieve with this? Is this going to bring anyone anything? Will it tickle anybody's brain? Will it encourage someone to relook at how they've been making their own dosas and realize there is room for improvement? Or is it going to give somebody strength to go and tell their family that they just don't like dosas and will never go near a dosa ever again in their life? That's a terrible and unnecessarily complicated metaphor for why I write my movie reviews the way I do now. It's not for the riches, the money, or the amazing number of less than 30,000 followers on Twitter. I write because I'd like to be the person I would have liked to talk to or listen to when I was going through my own process of understanding my thoughts and epiphanies, when I didn't understand the subliminal and not so subliminal ways in which cinema influences and forms opinion, ways in which certain movies upheld dangerous, misogynistic, sexist ideas of what the world order should be. And in my confusion, I went along with the recklessness that some movies were. Now, finally, in my 30s, I know slightly better, and I have a need for people to like me for my brain. I know about 78% of my truth. A place the generation after mine hopefully is arriving at faster, thanks to easily accessible and powerful things like TED Talks and Instagram Reels. Hey, if you can hack my life in 30 seconds, I'm here for it. So find who you are and then get belagam. You don't even need to wait until you know for sure that this is your purpose in the world. Heck, that's a mystery better left shrouded in mystery. क्योंकि अगर इतनी ही self awareness आ गई तो पहाड़ों में जाकर apple farming करनी पड़ेगी. But I don't know, have a healthy understanding of perhaps what you would like your purpose to be via this new YouTube channel that you're about to start, because frankly, it's a global platform that's available to you for free. I like to think about who this will benefit, this video I'm scripting or this review I'm writing, and who this might potentially harm. And if my conscience is okay with answers to both those questions, I then sit down to write. Halfway through, I lose steam and then revisit a few hours later, if that. Writing is hard. It's complicated. It's stressful. You've got to overcome a certain kind of shame. You've got to find a vulnerability and then share it with the internet. But think about it. What is more relatable than vulnerability? What is more real than that? Is there a bigger truth than admitting that you too feel things about certain things? I was vulnerable to the impact of cinema, clay in the hands of filmmakers telling me their stories. I spent years wanting to live lives which weren't right for me, molding my entire being around standards set mostly by men who were writing, making, and distributing these movies to us. I take that vulnerability now and I add in more life experience and self-awareness into each and every movie or episode or web video I'm watching and writing a review about. A film critic is an observer, not just of cinema, but also of humanity, of science. A good film critic will take this a step ahead and also be a good writer, which is very difficult to do because, like I've said about 50 times already, and maybe I'm just projecting repeatedly how this TED Talk is making me feel, writing is hard. Hence, being a film critic is difficult. Reward is delayed when you spend time analyzing, researching, thinking, and then writing, making a video, editing, uploading it. And LOL, who's paying you to think anyway? I recently came across an Instagram page of a life coach, an Indian woman telling people to live more mindfully and other words like so. She had tips on how to be successful at your job, how to forge better relationships, how to keep friends and family happy, so on and so forth. She was 24. 24. I don't want life advice from a 24-year-old. I don't want someone who was an incoherent, drooling toddler 2 decades ago to tell me the mistakes I'm making when I'm applying for a job. But I do want her to tell me about her life. Tell me what a 24-year-old is watching right now. Tell me about your changing fashion. Tell me about your increasing sense of the class and caste divide in India you've recently discovered. Talk to me about moving out of your parents' home and renting your first apartment. Or read a story that you wrote, a poem you came up with. Because I'd like to know how things are changing. I would like to stay fresh. But this poor kid probably saw life coach as a quick way to generate content with fast returns, and that's who she decided to become. Don't be a content creator. Everything is content. The conflicts inside my conflicts box are contents of that box. But be a creator, a painter, a writer, a comic, a poet, a movie critic. If female filmmakers give you a better sense of reality via cinema, celebrate women telling women's stories. If me as a film critic, I make you happy and this is what you want to do also, then write your reviews being as much of a woman as you possibly can. Encourage more women writers, share their work. If the government's handling of activists makes you uneasy, write an opinion piece so good no publication can refuse to print it. Look not just under the marketing that is served to you, but look also underneath your own need to market yourself, and once again ask yourself, why? Or, don't listen to me on the internet, do what you want. That's all. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.